I feel like that lens flare is getting crazier. What the heck's going on? Anyway, look at this. Oh my God, we're in JJ Trek. Yeah, that Star Trek, Starfleet Academy, exclusive clip thing, that preview, that came out a few days ago, and I said, why not make a video about that, and I'll save it for my away mission. I do these at the same time every week, and I said, why bother to make it its own video? Let's just save it. Besides, I was extremely busy with the TNG PS1 style video, which is basically done. It's probably 90%, 95% done, something like that. But anyway, let's get to the topic at hand. I saw that Starfleet Academy video, and it's what I thought. And I think I kind of have a different take, more or less, than what you might be seeing around. I do scroll past these other videos, and I mean, it doesn't seem like people are loving it, but I recognize that I'm not everybody. So I'm just going to, say what I'm thinking about this, point blank. Uh, if you go back a few away missions, I remember saying, I bet you this show is just going to be Discovery too, and that's what it kind of feels like. Um, as soon as I heard that the show was going to have a ship, I knew that this was just going to be Discovery again, because similar to how Deep Space Nine needed the Defiant, they realized that this show needed a ship, because we're giving up on the idea, again, that Star Trek can be in one place, right? And it's call it a cop out, but not to compare this to Deep Space Nine, but you can see how they're making a show set at a school, and then they decide to turn the school into a ship, and then they decide to turn the show into Discovery, as in pew pew pew, lots of fighting and explosions, right? Um, you know, constrain yourself, challenge yourself, try to write a show that is actually at a school. People have done it in other franchises, I'm sure, but we can't do it in Star Trek. Why not? Anyway, I turned on that I turned on that clip, and was just greeted by the classic the neon bridge again, right? Just like Discovery. Isn't it funny how we can go to the future in what, the 31st, 30th, 32nd century, something like that, and it looks just like Discovery. Wow, the neon bridge, lights everywhere, vast, voluminous, dim but not completely dark bridge. Again, consistently since Discovery season 3, I have been underwhelmed by the advancements in technology I've seen on screen. So far, we have programmable matter, and we can detach nacelles, which means ships can just be multiple different pieces that fit together like some kind of strange transformer, if you know what that is. And that's supposed to impress me. I don't know. That's basically all I'm getting out of it. And speaking of technology, or lack thereof, that we should have seen so far, we see the captain put glasses on, to see. Is she allergic to Retinax like Kirk? Back then, we had to have a line to explain why Kirk actually needed to wear glasses. He couldn't actually take the medicine that he needed to recover his eyes. But there was no such line in this clip of Academy. So, and it's not just for, I don't think it's just for aesthetics. I think she put it on to see something. She needed to look at a console on the bridge and put them on. And I was like, oh wow. Is the full show going to have an explanation? I don't know. Uh, how big is this ship? Go watch the video. Uh, I had a hard time judging. I don't know, maybe it's just how it's shot, and maybe it's just the angle of the lens, but the ship looked really, really big, but I could only see 3 layers of windows on the rim, on the rim, on the saucer. And it's not a very pleasing ship to me, but the saucer, what didn't look that thick, unless you consider that there could be a deck between each window deck that doesn't have a window. I couldn't tell the distance between each window vertically. Like, was there a deck in between these windows? I couldn't really say for sure, but I got the impression that this ship was huge. Uh, that's not really good or a bad thing, but a school ship, maybe you don't want it to be that big, right? Because you want to have more contact between students and, the teachers, right? And the more people that are there, the more confusing it's going to be. I don't know. I always felt that like maybe it's better to have a lot of small ships if each one is going to be like a school. Um, yeah, we got the pew pew pew. We got the battle. Full of things flying around the sky and exploding and things I don't remotely understand happening to the ship. There's tachyons. Oh, there's tachyons around us. Something to do with time, um, as it were. But you know, once again, like this show, when you release a trailer or exclusive clip from the show, and you're trying to sell the show, you're trying to show me what it has to offer, right? You want a trailer. Sometimes trailers lie, sometimes they're not right, and sometimes they don't truly reflect what's in the movie. But you're, in a sense, you're trying to sell me on this show. Is this clip selling me on the idea of academy, of kids being at a school and like going through these changes in life and becoming, adults in the Star Trek timeline, universe, what have you? Or is this selling me on the idea of another space action show where things blow up? I just couldn't shake that. And you want to show the thing that's most exciting about the show. And if you're making the show and you think that's the most exciting, that's kind of a problem, isn't it? If you're trying to make a show called Starfleet Academy, like, um, yeah, and we got the stupid, annoying holograms back. I'll never be able to deal with those holograms being all over the place. It's right in front of the captain, obscuring her view and obscuring our view of her. The captain, which sounds very odd, by the way. I don't know what it is, or uh, her voice sounds timid, and it's not. It doesn't really have any kind of boom to it. The captain, I don't know. She audibly, at least, reminds me of, I don't know, a garden gnome. I don't know. Maybe it'll grow on me, but it's not that big of a deal. But what is a big deal is the villain showing up on the bridge as a hologram, and he's interacting kind of with the scenery, like the villain Nus Braca. He's he looks like he's walking up little steps. Can he see the bridge? Are we showing the villain the bridge? Is that a good idea? I don't know, but Nus Braca appears as a hologram on the bridge and is basically teasing the captain, talking about an origami chicken and time and how, I'm back now and now you're really gonna get it this time. I do feel like there's some kind of connection between Captain Ake and Nus Braca. Are they related? I have a strange feeling about that. And I also, a while ago, I mentioned this theory. I've had a theory, it's kind of out there, but I've had a theory that Nus Braca is not the bad guy. I don't know why I thought this, but a long time ago, when they first announced Academy, they kind of immediately announced that, uh, what's his name, Paul Giamatti, was going to play the villain. And I was just thinking, do you want to reveal the villain that fast? Really? You're just going to say who the villain is that quick? And I got thinking, it got my noodle in my brain was spinning and trying to come up with something here that seemed to make sense. And one of those things, and maybe I'm giving them too much credit, but one of these things I was thinking that was this show is called Starfleet Academy. We're in a school. Fear is a great motivator and teacher. Maybe Nus Braca works for the school. Maybe they're not in any real danger. How good are the holograms? How good is the faculty here? Can we really scare the hell out of people to this degree? Can we make the danger almost real? Is Nus Braca, is it his job to do this? What a twist. Uh and that would, I would forgive the over the top cartoonish mustache twirling nature of Nus Braca if it turns out that was the case. But somehow I can't see it anymore. But I was thinking it for a moment. But I do wonder, are they in any real danger? Is Nusbraka the real villain? They revealed him really fast. And those nasty robots from Discovery are still there. I think they're called Dots. They were from Discovery season 2, which was a few years before TOS. And now we're vastly far in the future, and we still have the same robots doing stuff. I never liked the idea of robots doing things like a little exocomp type thing from TNG, performing these different tasks in Star Trek. I never liked it. It was always more fun when it was a person in a suit. And now we have the same robot as before, and they're like cutesy. The robot is like trying to look like a toy. Are we trying to sell a toy here? And I feel like that lens flare is getting crazier. What the heck's going on? Anyway, look at this. Oh my God, we're in JJ Trek. Um, and the doctor's there, Robert Picardo. We have a decent cast here. We have Paul Giamatti and Robert Picardo. Hopefully they're not wasted, and hopefully they're not there just to sell the show, like they don't really do anything. But I mean, maybe they're along for a paycheck, or maybe they're along to really exercise their artistic muscles. I have no idea. But the doctor said one thing. They were talking about injuries, right? Talking about the crew that was hurt by this attack by, I assume, Nusbraka. Um, they said there's this many injuries, this many casualties, and then no one dead. And they kind of made a little bit of mistake here. I looked this up because I thought it sounded strange. They made it sound like casualties means dead, like no casualties. But if I say 100 injured, no casualties, no one dead, or something like that, and a casualty, I think, is supposed to be an injury or a death. It was something that takes you out of the action. That's a casualty. And they didn't really quite understand that. Um, I don't know. I was just watching it and I was like, oh, that sounds weird. And I looked it up and I was right. Casualty does not mean just dead. It means like injured and dead, or injured or dead. But it's not a big deal. Like a few of these details that are just little surface things. If the show's good, it's good. But if it's bad, those surface details they're gonna show up, and we're gonna keep thinking about them. But that about covers it for what I was thinking about Academy so far. Oh, and the villain ship, according to my notes here, it's another nasty angular ship that I can't remember. Again, with Star Trek, angular means bad. I think green equals bad too. Was this one green? Did this have green lights? You better not. This better not have green lights. I better be misremembering this. This better not be a green ship again, or black with green lights or something like that. Because green equals bad, angular equals bad. I better be wrong about that. I better be wrong about the color, but I can't remember right off the bat. Um, yeah. Do we want Discovery 2? If you thought Academy was a bad idea in general, are you happy that it's not like it's entirely in Academy? Like, it's kind of a weird thing. It's like we're making a show. Okay, this show's banana flavored, and then the trailer comes out and it clearly looks like it's apple flavored. And you're gonna say, well, I mean, the banana fans are gonna be upset, but those people who didn't like banana, they're gonna be happy. They're gonna be getting another Apple show. That's exactly like what this is, right? It looks like space battle, explosions, bad guy. Okay. If you were hoping for Starfleet Academy to be kind of like what it sounds like, you were probably hoping for, youthful characters walking around having a good time and worrying about the problems that they worry about. Like, am I wrong on that? Is this show at odds with itself? I'm Lieutenant Mark, and I'm going to see you when next time I see you. So long.